Happy Monday, Mon family. And we're back in the studio again. And imagine this, you finally get the new relationship, the new job, the new city, the new body, the new chapter that you prayed for. For the first few months, it feels like heaven. Everything is fresh, exciting, and full of possibilities. But then one day you wake up and it feels normal. The spark is fading, the problems are showing up, the excitement is gone. And suddenly that same restless voice returns. Maybe I need something new again. And if this sounds familiar or sounds like you don't have a problem with new beginnings, you have a problem with maintenance. And today we're finally talking about the one thing nobody wants to admit. Beautiful lives aren't built on constant restarts, they're built on consistent maintenance. Welcome to today's episode. Nobody talks about the life maintenance.
This is MON, still showing up.
Poster guide y Denise.
All right, Mon family, let's get into the Mon stories for this week. So, the first one, someone said, I had just moved to Florida and was grocery shopping at Publix for the first time, minding my business by the rotisserie chicken. Rotisserie chicken is good, and I've never been to Publix. Have you been to Publix in Florida?
Yes, they have the best sprinkle cookies.
The best sprinkle cookies. Okay. I'm gonna have to give that a try next time I'm there, whenever I'm there. Tell me why this man grabbed two chickens, shoved them under his hoodie, looked at me dead in the eye, and said, "Mind your business, baby." And honestly, I did. I grabbed my little groceries and continued my shopping because one thing about me, I'm not fighting rotisserie chicken crime on a random Tuesday. This guy really just stole two rotisserie chickens, bruh. All right, guys, comment below if you've ever tasted the Publix rotisserie chicken and see if it's worth catching a case for. Because clearly, in my opinion, it's not. And rotisserie chicken's only like $5 at the store. Make it make sense. But anyways, at least you showed up. You mind your business. Now, the second Mon story, someone said, I went on a work trip thinking it was going to be professional, peaceful, and organized. Tell me why the hotel fire alarm went off at 2 in the morning. Everybody had to evacuate outside, half asleep. One of the managers came down in business casual. Business casual at 2 in the morning? One coworker had a bonnet, slippers, and a laptop. And one man fully bought his hotel breakfast voucher outside with him. What? What? The worst part, there was no fire. Somebody apparently burned popcorn. Nothing humbles a corporate team faster than standing outside a Marriott at 2 a.m. looking homeless together. Here's my thought process. There's a lot of things going on here. First of all, I would not save my work computer. I would not. Second of all, it's 2 in the morning. Why is he still business casual? He probably changed into some business casual clothes because he didn't want you to see him like that. Because it makes no sense. I would walk. You know how I'd be sleeping in hotels?
It's probably you would look crazy.
I would look crazy. I would look like the bonnet, the slippers, but not the laptop. My question is, how did you look? Because she described everybody, but she didn't describe herself. But at least you showed up, and hopefully the next day you weren't expected to show up to work because you didn't get your sleep. But anyways, make sure to continue sharing your Mon stories or any questions that you guys may have. Make sure to just share it your way, or instead of like Mon stories, we can do Mon hot takes where you ask questions and I'll answer away, like advice from me, because who would want advice from me? Anyways, continue sharing your stories. All right, Mon family, so let's get into our topic. A lot of people aren't actually addicted to new beginnings. They're addicted to the feeling new beginnings give them. The environment, the hope, the temporary sense of being alive. Because the beginnings, right, we feel intoxicated. Everything feels amazing, full of potential, but eventually that new chapter becomes normal. The apartment you prayed for becomes just a home. The butterflies turn into everyday life. The dream job starts feeling stressful on a random Monday or Tuesday. And that's basically psychology. Humans being adapt incredibly fast, even to things we once desperately wanted. And when the excitement fades, most people panic. They assume maybe this isn't right anymore, when really they're just entered the maintenance phase. Maintenance phase is where real life begins. It asks a completely different question, not does this still excite me every second, but am I willing to care for this consistently? That single shift clearly changes everything, especially in relationships. Successful couples aren't successful because they never disconnect. They're successful because they've literally mastered how to reconnect. They understand that every healthy relationship still requires maintenance. The same true is with your body. People fall in love with the glow ups, but they hate the maintenance. Like losing weight is exciting, but keeping it off when motivation disappears, that is the real test. And then financially, it's the same story. A raise will feel amazing until the lifestyle creeps quietly and eats it up. And true financial peace isn't built by making more money, it's built through discipline, boundaries, and consistency. And I think that, social media makes all of this worse. Every single time you finally feel stable, you open your phone and you see someone starting over, right? And then suddenly your peace feels like stagnation. But not every calm season means something is missing. Sometimes your nervous system is simply not used to that stability. And some people, when you think about it, they have lived in survival mode for so long that peace actually feels uncomfortable to them, or like chaos feels productive, or stress feels familiar, or when you feel calm, it just feels so suspicious. It's like that quote, birds born in a cage think flying is an illness. And honestly, I think a lot of adults are still trying to unlearn survival patterns that was normalized years ago. And I heard this story once, and I'm always hearing stories. And there was this father teaching his daughter how to drive. And every single time she made a mistake, she would panic. She would grab the wheel, too hard, or start overthinking, whatever, apologize over and over again. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And finally, the father looked at her and said, you keep looking at the car in front of you so closely that you don't realize the roads keep moving. At first, it sounded like a simple driving advice, but that line applies to life too, because a lot of people are so focused on, what hurt them, what disappointed them, what feels wrong right now, that and maybe they is you stop realizing life is still moving. And when you only focus on immediate frustration, you start maintaining the bigger direction of your life. Sometimes people become so emotionally reactive, they slowly drift without even noticing. And I think maturity right now is learning how to really just zoom out. Not every mistake means crash the whole car. Not every difficult season means abandon your whole life. Sometimes you just need to breathe, adjust that wheel, and you just keep going. And I think it's scary, right? I think the scariest part is neglect. Most things in life don't fall apart overnight. They'll drift quietly, one ignored conversation, one delayed habit, one more I'll fix that later, or one more it's not that serious. And eventually the small thing became the big thing. The little emotional distance became the disconnect. A little procrastination becomes chaos. A little self-neglect can become into burnout. And most destruction starts quietly. Neglect never stays neutral. It charges rent. Like, hello, you've been neglecting me. This is what you got. And I think part of growing up is learning how to fall in love with ordinary life again. Not every season is supposed to feel so intense. Not every month is supposed to feel like a movie. Some of the healthiest seasons in your life will actually feel quiet, stable, predictable, calm. And if you're not careful, you'll mistake peace for boredom. But real self respect is showing up for your life, even on normal days. The gym when nobody compliments you yet, the budgeting when nobody sees it, the communication, the routines, the healing, the consistency, that's maintenance. And one thing that I've learned is that you cannot build your life only around motivation. And I said this before, right? Motivation disappears fast. You need systems, those little habits that keep your life from quietly falling apart. Checking in on yourself, protecting your peace before burnout habit happens, having hard conversations before resentment grows roots, or resting before your body forces you to. And I think every once in a while, you also have to audit your life. Like, what am I maintaining that no longer deserves my energy? And what have I abandoned that actually matters? Because maintenance is not just about holding on to things, it's also, right, knowing what's worth watering and what's already dead. And when it comes to maintenance, it can look really simple. Taking yourself to the spa, resting, drinking water, slowing down instead of waiting until life forces you to. It's still going on dates with your partner even after the honeymoon phase. It's praying consistently, not only when life is falling apart. It's taking care of your body, your peace, your routine, your relationship, even on the boring days. Because self love isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's just quietly taking care of your life before everything falls apart. Because mature people truly understand something younger people don't. And that's the boring phase is where roots grow. Now, let me be clear before I end this episode. This is not me telling you to stay in situations that are harming you. Some things do need to end. Some environments are really toxic. Some relationships really are draining. Some seasons really are assignments that expire. And yes, sometimes the bravest thing that you can do is leave. But there is a difference between leaving because something is destroying you and leaving because you got uncomfortable once things stopped feeling exciting. Because if you constantly restart every time life feels ordinary, you may not be evolving. You may just be addicted to novelty. Stop confusing boredom with failure. Stop abandoning things just because they become normal, and stop treating your life like it's a rental car. And you guys know I'm always backing things up with the Bible to ground ourselves a little bit. And in Proverbs, there's this verse that says, "The one who guards a fig tree will eat its fruit." Because I think a lot of people want the fruit without learning how to care for the tree. And people keep searching for a new life, a new beginning, a new orchid, while quietly neglecting the very thing God already placed in front of them. And if we're being honest, the beautiful life usually doesn't belong to the person consistently planting new trees. It belongs to the person who stayed long enough to water what mattered. Protect it, care for it, maintain it through every season, because eventually well-maintained things, they bear fruit. Period. Right, Mercedes? So, Mon family, this week I challenge you to pick one area you've been neglecting and actually maintain it. Not posting about it, not a dramatic transformation video or anything. Just boring, consistent, adulting in silence work. Water your grass, guard your fig tree, fix the dishes in the sink instead of looking for a new roommate. Because at the end of the day, you don't need a new life. And it's bad when God is like, I gave you a fig tree and you out here shopping for new orchids. Now, look, I love you all. Go do some maintenance this week. Next week, we'll talk about the wedding. And if you see me out here acting like I need a brand new life again, somebody come maintain me, okay? Happy Monday. Keep showing up, even when it's boring. That's where the real glow up happens. And remember, I'll see you same time, same place, still showing up. Bye now.